some if you want.
Okay, Kevin? Whenever you're ready.
We're all affected and we learn from the things that are around us, whether it's media or the people around us. The people are the ones that especially affect us. Between just in many different ways, we just learn from them, how they act, what they say. We learn, we pick the good, what we see as good, what we see as bad, and we apply it to our lives as things we should take on or things we should avoid. Especially the relationships that affect us the most are the ones that are obviously closest to us. So it's our friends, it's our family, or just other adults in our lives or that are just above us, like teachers. Through all that, one of the most important ones is a relationship that can be a mentoring one. Those can be, because these are very intentional relationships, it's very one-on-one, you're trying to learn something from the person. So obviously, you're going to learn the most from it and have the most effect from it. I had this experience with my mentor. Back in my home church, my pastor had mentored me, and I was really able to experience that feeling. But to really understand why it's so important even more, we need to explain what mentoring is. I'm going to tell you what it is through the history of what mentoring is. I'm going to define what mentoring is, and I'm also going to say what a basic mentorship looks like. What are things that are always in a mentoring relationship? My first point is the definition of mentoring. It can be kind of confusing, and lots of people will misunderstand what it means. It gets mixed up between discipling and mentoring. These are words that are really closely related. According to William and Howard Hendricks in their book, as iron sharpens iron, discipling comes from a root word that means to learn, where mentoring comes from protege, which means more towards to protect. So a discipling relationship is more one-on-one, it's more teacher and student. The teacher is pouring into the student and teaching them and just giving them the info so they can apply it to their life, information so they can apply it to their lives. Where in a mentoring relationship, there's that teaching aspect where the mentor is pouring into his mentoree, but it changes in the fact that instead of just letting them go, the mentor will train them and make them work, help them apply what they're learning to their lives, and help be with them and protect them through the situations they go through so they can live a good life and be safe. Now that you know the definition, it's good to know where it came from. It's not just a biblical thing, it's not just a Christian thing to be mentored. There's Melissa Snell, in an essay about the Middle Ages, speaks a ton about how in the Middle Ages there was an apprenticeship thing, where you would send your children to go be an apprentice of some trade worker. Either there was a metal worker or someone just in different industries like that, where they would come and they would learn, they would live with them, they would learn from what they did, and they would learn how to apply it to their lives, they would learn how to run a business, they would learn how to lead others, and just teach their subject. Also, Donald Lopez in the Encyclopedia Britannica talks about how religious leaders of other cultures, they would teach their, even Christianity, like Jesus. People follow them, learn from what they know about their religion, learn how to apply it to their lives, and different things like that. Also, it's very strong in the Bible. You can see it all throughout Scripture with people like Moses. Moses, who was a great man who led the Israelites out of Egypt. He led them through the wilderness, trying to point them always towards God. Even he needed a mentor, and Jethro, his father-in-law. His father-in-law came, he taught him how to lead and how to delegate responsibility, because Moses was trying to do it all by himself. But Jethro saw this and saw how much he needed help. He needed to appoint others to do this. So Moses needed that mentor. Also, Paul. Paul was a mentor. He taught Timothy. Timothy was one of the greatest pastors in the New Testament and just led a great church that was focused on God and really spreading his word. But Timothy would have been nowhere if Paul wouldn't have taken him under his wing and taught him how to apply the Christian life, how to live as a Christian walk. Now that we have the history and a definition of it, I want to show you some things that are in a general mentoring relationship. one thing, it's generally relationships are people who work together, people who have time to be together. It's something very important in a mentoring relationship, is you meet with someone regularly and keep connected with them. It's not going to be somebody you see once a year or once a month even. It needs to be something weekly. Along with, it needs to be someone who you connect with and who has a better knowledge. If you're being mentored, you need somebody who has a better knowledge of something you want to learn about. Like with me and Andy, my pastor, he was very smart. He knew the facts of the Bible. And I really wanted to know that. I wanted to learn there's different things, contradictions in the Bible that I needed to, that were confusing me and questioned. So I talked to him to find out what they were, like what the answers were and what the solutions to this was. And that was very good for me. Also in mentoring relationships, there's a lot of honesty that's needed. There's a lot of, the mentoree needs to be extremely honest to his mentor. If he's not honest and doesn't explain that, then they don't get anywhere. He's not able to learn, he's not able to teach people. Or he's not able to teach his mentor how to control his feelings or how to show what he's feeling and explain it to him. This is something I really felt in the mentoring relationship I was in, because at first I have a difficulty opening up to people and being honest. So in that relationship, we didn't get anywhere for the first couple months, because I couldn't be honest with him about my questions. I didn't trust him. I didn't trust myself to explain things. But once I started opening up to him, it cleared it all up for me. So all this just goes together to give this big picture of what mentoring is and what the big picture of it is, with the history, the definition of it, and just practical examples of what a general mentorship looks like. It all goes together. The mentoring relationship I had with Andy, it helped to build me as a character. I was able to look at it, I was able to look at him and find the good and the bad traits I saw. I was able to see the good and the bad things to learn from the relationship, and it all wrapped together. So I hope this helped to show you what a mentoring relationship is and how important it can be to people.